In fitness, we often talk a lot about the X's and O's, the nuts and bolts, acute versus chronic adaptations. We talk about stroke volume, Krebs cycle, electron transport system, origin insertion, the greatest hits of science related to working with clients and physiology. And honestly, most clients don't care about that stuff. Every once in a blue moon, someone does, but the majority of it is really not a thing. I've been training almost 24 years now, and maybe one or two clients in that entire time wanted to deeply know about what was happening inside their body with stroke volume, cardiac output, blood volume, origin insertion, and so on and so forth. It's literally almost irrelevant when it comes to the conversation with clients. It is certainly relevant to learn it, to have baseline information, but I just think it's given way too much of a portion of the education. That's a whole other thing. But what should be given a tremendous amount of space during your sessions is the entertainment value. So I'm going to say this, and I think it's really important for my fellow fitness and wellness professionals. You can learn everything you need to learn. And I've learned it myself. I know all about the Krebs cycle. I could tell you about creatine phosphate. I could tell you about pathologies. I could trace the blood through the entire heart. All that stuff. Honestly, if you're great at that and your sessions have no entertainment value, it's almost useless, all that other stuff. Let me tell you, if you are boring, if the clients find your sessions to be boring, you will not have a great career. You will not have a long-term career. Some people, you may have a few clients who are interested in that, but most people, when they train, they want it to be interesting. Think about yourself, right? Do you go to a movie to be bored or to be enthralled or to be excited, right? To have some action or to make you think and be like, wow, what's the twist of that, right? Do you go to a sporting event to be bored, for it to be disinteresting? So you can sit there and go, wow, this is really boring. Not honestly why I totally get the NFL, which is my favorite sport, NFL football. They get the whole entertainment value aspect of things. Play the best teams against each other, give you more of it, try to make some creative things to make it interesting, fun, exciting, but safe. Isn't that your training session? Fun, exciting, informative, safe? I would argue that the entertainment value of a session is one of the top three things that keeps clients coming back and makes them excited about coming to the session to overcome the sludge, which I talked about in my previous episode. You have to be somewhat entertaining. Now, let me stop here and say this does not mean that you be fake. Okay. Not everyone has the same level of entertainment value, but you definitely can't be fake. I can't stand fakeness. In fact, I had a trainer colleague, I won't say what it is, tell me it's just a performance, right? It's not real. That's bullshit. Every one of my sessions is real, completely me. My clients get me. And I'm genuinely interested in my clients and I'm genuinely entertaining during it. But I'm also very different with each client depending on how they present themselves. I have clients who love to tell jokes or could be a little more like super outgoing, and or I have clients who are a little less outgoing but funny, some more reserved but love to talk about Netflix shows, some want to talk about pop culture, whatever it is, I'm interested in it. But on your side, as the trainer, fitness professional, whatever, you have to be entertaining on some level. Whatever that means for you, take that for what it is. But the entertainment value is it has to be there. That was one of my favorite things about my training staff in Las Vegas at Club Bridges, where I was the GM for a long time, is we had great entertainment value. In fact, so much, each of my trainers had very unique personalities and catered to very different people. But the one common thread is they were safe with the clients. They were interesting. They asked questions and they were fun, man. They were all fun people, had a great time. I heard laughter going throughout the fitness floor constantly from both my sessions and all of my trainers' sessions. Always a fun place. One of the greatest 5-year runs any team has ever had. Book it. In terms of that version, I was there 10 years, and you have some turnover here and there and stuff, but we had a 5-year stretch where it was just like, it was Comedy Central out there, man. But I was hired a lot of really interesting people. And entertainment doesn't mean you have to be funny. It means you just have to be interesting, whatever that means for you. Our tennis director that we had at the club that I hired, one of my best friends, Big J, his gab game is unbelievable. You got to have the gab game, man. His entertainment value as a tennis director and tennis pro, incredibly high, like one percentile. He never had to worry about clients, always had clients all the time. All my trainers who have that gift always had clients. They were flush with people all the time. All this to say that the entertainment value is important. Doesn't mean you have to be a comedian and tell jokes, though some trainers are great at that. Doesn't mean you just have to have this like bursting personality, but there has to be some interest, something interesting about you. You have to, and also you have to be interested in your clients. You have to be curious. Part of the entertainment value is curiosity. You have to want to be curious about what your clients are into. My clients are into literally all types of stuff. Some of it I have a huge amount of interest in. Some of it I have a lower amount of interest in, but I'm interested in them and how that interests them. Showing that interest in them creates entertainment value. So ask yourself, if you're listening to this, or you're a trainer, fitness professional, health coach, life coach, I don't care, whatever type of coach you are you interesting? It's a big thing. If you show up to the session and you are excited about it, you're fun, you laugh, you ask questions, you don't take it too seriously all the time, I would argue it's one of the things that is one of the greatest glues to long-term training success. For all my students out there and people getting into the personal training business, fitness business, hell, any business that you're dealing with people, ask yourself, don't you want to be around people who make you feel exciting or who are interesting, who bring great energy to what they do? I'll stand on this. I have a ton of education. It literally means nothing if I'm boring in my session. I've seen trainers who had a tremendous amount of education, but just weren't interesting. Entertainment value is low. It needs to be high. Again, interpret that however you want to be. You don't want to be the funniest person, but you got to be interesting. Ask questions, be interested. Clients don't care about your certifications. They don't know a lot about the human body. Honestly, they ain't asking about it. They want you to be there, be a companion, a confidant, and be a movement accountability specialist. Listen, you don't want clients dreading to work with you. That's part of the sludge machine thing. You got to know yourself. Maybe clients aren't showing up regularly for the session because they just don't want to spend time around you. They think to themselves, I don't want to spend this time with this person. They may have nothing to do with your exercise progressions and your knowledge of that. It may have everything to do with they're just not interested in being around you. You have to evaluate that about yourself. And it also gets into the genesis of being in this business and evaluating if you're someone that you think people want to spend a lot of time with. And a big portion of that, my observational data, is people want to be around interesting people. They want to be entertaining. They want to be excited to show up because it's hard enough for them to show up anyways because exercise is not intuitive for people. In fact, it's something that is counterintuitive. So you're already fighting that in the sludge machine. So if you're already climbing up a hill, why do you want to add being boring to it? Entertainment value is important. Part of entertainment value is confidence in the face of making mistakes, too. Sometimes I love football. And I think about this quarterbacks who never try to fit things in a window, who are trying not to make mistakes, they're boring. And they're also not great quarterbacks. Sometimes you got to take risks, throw over the middle, intermediate passes, throw a guy open, right? Football terminology, if you're into that. Same thing with training. Sometimes you got to take some risk, put yourself out on the ledge a bit, ask some interesting questions, be entertaining. You got to make people feel like they want to show up regularly. And a big part of that is you. Thanks for your time, everyone. This is The Far Side of Fitness with Dr. Darian Parker. See you next time.